Ladies and gentlemen, if you'd like to make your way to your tables, we're about to start this year's GWC Forum. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Emily Angwin, and thank you for joining us for this year's GWC Forum. Our theme this year is Fostering Legacy, Empowering MSMEs in the Digital Era. Over the next 2 days, we will be exploring legacy of the first FIFA World Cup in the Middle East and the Arab world, and discussing how Qatar's enterprising spirit is inspiring growth across the region as it builds towards Qatar National Vision 2030. Before going any further, I would like to thank our strategic partners, the Ministry of Commerce and Industry and QNB, our research partner, Hamad bin Khalifa University, our intelligence partner, Oxford Business Group, our gift partner, QLive. We would also like to mention the cooperation agreement between GWC and Qatar Development Bank that was signed earlier this morning. This will see the two entities working together to support MSMEs in Qatar as the country drives towards National Vision 2030. We are also very proud that this event forms part of the Qatar Sustainability Week, for which GWC is a strategic partner. Now, without further ado, I'd like to welcome to the stage GWC's Chief Marketing Officer, Jawahar Al-Huzai. Give her a round of applause.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to GWC Forum 2023, where we focus on fostering legacy by empowering MSMEs in the digital era. This year, we reflect on the success of the FIFA World Cup held in Qatar last year and its enduring impact on the nation. The tournament delivered amazing, but the real significance lies in its legacy. Our discussions will center on how MSMEs, the backbone of every economy, can continue and grow and prosper post-2022. We'll explore what businesses can do and how governments, academia, and the private sector can contribute to their success. I want to express our gratitude to our esteemed speakers, partners, including the Ministry of Commerce and Industry, QNB, Hamad bin Khalifa University, Oxford Business Group, and QLive. Your support and expertise are invaluable. Please enjoy the forum, engage with our panel and workshops, and seize opportunity to learn and share knowledge as we work together to empower the MSMEs and contribute to Qatar National Vision 2030. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jawahar. Ladies and gentlemen, it is now our great pleasure to welcome our first keynote speaker this morning, Dr. Hamad Majagir is the Executive Director of Advisory and Incubation at the Qatar Development Bank, which is on a mission to improve the economic development cycle by providing entrepreneurs and MSMEs with a wide range of financial and advisory products under one roof. Please, a round of applause for Dr. Hamad. Welcome to the stage.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على رسوله الأمين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It is my pleasure to join you today at the third edition of the GWC Forum, which is dedicated to empowering micro, small and medium enterprises in the digital era. Dubbed Fostering Legacy, this year's event draws inspiration from Qatar's transformative journey to drive sustainable domestic and regional growth by fostering entrepreneurship, a legacy that Qatar has been diligently shaping and one that extends beyond the exceptional achievement of hosting FIFA World Cup 2022 and currently hosting the Expo Doha 2023. Qatar's journey in hosting the FIFA World Cup was nothing short of remarkable, transforming a sporting tournament into a cultural event that resonated globally and left lasting impact in our country that accelerated the growth of our entrepreneurship ecosystem. And Qatar Development Bank has been at the forefront of supporting MSMEs, supporting entrepreneurs through financial, advisory and training programs that enable founders and companies to develop innovative ideas and materialize them into marketable products and services. More than 870 startups and SMEs have been benefited from QDB's products and support so far, with over 7.3 billion Qatari riyal deployed in direct and indirect support to the banks since the bank's inception. And QDB continues to work closely with various stakeholders like our host today, GWC, to ensure that Qatar to attract new entrepreneurs and investments, focusing its latest efforts on creating new initiatives specifically designed for emerging growth-oriented subsectors such as cybersecurity, advanced manufacturing, fintech, and sports tech. Together, we can push boundaries of what's possible and drive progress in the ever-evolving landscape of digital transformation. We remain committed to supporting the entrepreneurial spirit and building upon the legacy that drives innovation in our region, a legacy that will inspire generations to come, with events like today's playing a pivotal role in shaping our future path. Thank you, and I wish you a great success in this forum.
That might help. Thank you so much, Dr. Hamad. We really appreciate your insights. I'm very much looking forward to our next panel. It's titled Enabling Growth. So as our panelists make their way to the stage, I'll explain a little bit about what the panel is. So please welcome to the stage Engineer Salim Al-Tuhuli, the CEO of Kazine. We have Dr. Christos Anagnostopoulos, who is an assistant professor in sport management at HBKU and founder and director of the UNESCO Chair. We have Joël Yazbek, regional coordinator of the International Chamber of Commerce and United Nations Economic and Social Commission for Western Asia Centre of Entrepreneurship, and Syed Maz, the Chief Business Development Officer at GWC. Please, a big round of applause for our panellists this morning. We'll be exploring the impact of the FIFA World Cup 2022 and what it's had on the regional growth and sustainability of the region. We'll focus on how it's empowered MSMEs through policymakers, sustainable logistics, the circular economy, education, and attracting foreign investment for long-term prosperity. plenty to get through this morning. Now, just before we start our panel, we're also going to put up on the screen a QR code. So you can scan the QR code at any moment when it comes up on the screen, and you'll be able to add questions to the panel if you'd like to contribute to the discussion. But in the meantime, we'll start our panel. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Don't be nervous. We're all friends here.
Definitely.
Okay, I'm going to start with Dr. Christos. Lovely to have you here again. You were here last year before the World Cup, and now I can't believe it's been 1 year since the FIFA World Cup has come and gone. What are some of the challenges for MSMEs in Qatar, and how can the country support them in overcoming those challenges?
Let me start, Emily, by telling a big thanks to GWC for the kind invitation. I'm so glad to be back here after 1 year. And of course, congratulations to the sponsors of this event for this lineup of speakers and the whole organization. The very same event today is a testament of what we're talking about, legacy, and hopefully it becomes an institution. You know, it is the 3rd edition, and inshallah, we are here again next year. Now, allow me, if I may, to give a little bit of a context to tackle your question. About 10, 12 years ago, this country had a population of about 1.5, 1.7 million. We know what happened since, and we today, according to the latest assessment by the International Monetary Fund, we have reached about 2.7 plus million people, so 1 million more. And according to the same assessment, we are looking about GDP growth 2.5%. So this is the macro environment in which MSMEs exist and operate. Now, facts. You mentioned a lineup of major sporting events, and not only sporting events. We know what happens as we speak in this country. The Expo, this is a huge event as well, that can support MSMEs businesses. Now, when it comes to sport though, the next 7-8 years, we have 2027, huge event, the equivalent of last year's Football's World Cup, but this time in basketball. We have 2030 Asian Games, not to mention what happens in 2 months' time with the Asian Cup. I was trying to find tickets for myself and my family, and it's sold out. That tells a lot. The appetite of people in this country, but also outside the country, about what beautiful sporting events this nation and country can organize, can host. So this is the other fact. And the final fact is that in the region, competition for what we call global talent is increasing. So we heard the news, by the looks of things, Saudi Arabia will be hosting the World Cup and other major events in 2034. And that might be an opportunity for MSMEs, SMEs, or even bigger companies to expand their businesses, to grow as per this year's event's title. But also, in my view, might be a little bit of threat as well, because the expertise that has been developed over the last 10, 15 years here might be transferred to our neighborhood countries and friends, and so they can be in a position where we are today. So what we have to make sure that we do is that we protect these assets. Because as I mentioned, fact number 2 was the lineup of major sporting events and non-sporting events as well, and we need to keep this if you like, talent in the country, and that's how we can grow. There are solutions we can discuss later, but this is, I think, an important environment that we need to keep in mind when we talk about growth, when we talk about sustainable MSMEs and their operations.
Well, that brings me to Engineer Salim, because he has joined us today, and thank you very much, from Amman, and he is the CEO of Khazain Economic City. So talking about keeping talent perhaps in Qatar, or maybe more broadly in the region, I noticed that you are nodding along to what Dr. Christos was saying. Firstly, can you explain a little bit to us about what the Khazain Economic City is and how it's creating opportunities for MSMEs?
First of all, thank you very much for this invitation. We are honored to be here today with you, and for the invitations of Khazain to be part of this forum. Also, I would like to thank GWC for their trust to come to Oman and do a beautiful projects in Khazain. It's now really one of the best projects in Khazain Economic City. They raised the standard. They have built one of the best logistic center facilities in Oman. And it's now becoming a landmark in Khazain. So thank you very much for this trust and for all this supports. Secondly, I would like to also introduce Khazain. Khazain is the first economic city, integrated economic city in Oman with the model of PPP partnership. Khazain, we are as a company, we are developers. We develop the infrastructures, and we provide all the infrastructures in the city, and we attract investors to come and invest inside the city. The city is so close to Muscat, and it's part of Greater Muscat. From the airport of Muscat is
Which
only...
is also very beautiful, I might add. I think it's one of the most beautiful countries in the region.
Thank you very much, yeah. So when we said integrated city, it has all the main sectors, the logistics sectors, the industrial sectors, the food, the pharmaceutical, the commercial, and the residential. The main purpose of this city has been created to attract investments to Oman, to also to participate in the diversifications of Oman's economy, as well as to create commercial opportunities for the SMEs. This is one of the high-level objectives of Khazain, and that's what's happening right now in Khazain. So far, we have signed more than 100 investment agreements. Out of this number, 30% of these agreements is signed with SMEs.
Fantastic.
Yes. So we have reached investments of almost $1 billion inside Khazain. And this is within the past 30 months only.
Wow, congratulations.
Yeah. Thank you very much. So if we talk about SMEs, what Khazain offers to the SMEs, I would like also to start from the big picture. And just highlight the structure of the governments. We have, of course, a dedicated authority called SMEs Authority, dedicated to develop the SMEs and to uplift them, also to help them to integrate with Oman economy. That's number one of the structure in the government, as well as we have SMEs Development Fund, also where they fund the projects of the SMEs. Multiple legislations, multiple laws has been issued for the SMEs, and one of them is all the government tenders that's floated by the governments. 10% of this contract, it goes to the SMEs. If there is 100 million Riyal Omani project, 10% should goes, the minimum should goes to the SMEs. So Khazain, when I come to Khazain, and almost we have 105 SMEs, active SMEs in Oman and outside Oman as well. Because SMEs in Oman, they start also looking for opportunities outside Oman, including Africa and some other regions as well. So in Khazain, from day one, when we start designing the city and when we start working on the master plan of the city, we have considered different elements in the master plan, including the size of the plot. We have the size of the plot starting from 2,500 square meter up to 100,000 square meter. So we decided to keep small plots for the SMEs. So that's one of the things that we, from the beginning of work in the master plan. Sorry.
No.
Yeah. Also, we have structured very strategic partnership with banks in Oman. So also we offer loans to the SMEs, not Khazain, but through the bank. Like, for example, we have commercial banks and we have Oman Development Banks, where they can support the SMEs up to 5 million Riyal Omani. It's about equivalent to 50 million Riyal Qatari. So that's one of the things. Plus also we consider different models of investments with the SMEs. Either they can come and lease the plot, or also they can lease a pre-built factory or a pre-built warehouse. So that's also has been designed to the SMEs in order to save their capitals and use their capitals efficiently. We have also opening the market for them in Oman as well as outside Oman.
And I want to get to the sort of strategic location of where Khazain City is in a moment, if I may, Engineer Salim. But I just want to bring in Syed now, because I want to focus a little bit on how hosting the FIFA World Cup has impacted positively impacted MSMEs, not just in Qatar, but perhaps regionally as well.
Certainly, Emily. FIFA was a milestone, not only for the country, but for GWC as well, since we were the official logistics provider for the event. And like I said, I mentioned last year during the forum that Qatar is going to host the best FIFA ever. And then we had a debate on that FIFA has not yet started. But indeed, the country went on to deliver the best ever FIFA. And the backbone of any event, if you go historically, is the strong logistical support that the event gets. And it was a proud moment for us, and the commitment from the people in GWC, from the staff, that there was not a single failure, not a single incident where we did not deliver the mandate. So it was a large mandate. It opened up doors for MSMEs because 2022 saw the launch of Alucare Logistics Park, which is a significant milestone in the country's vision to kind of create a non-oil economy. And we all know that 87% of the economy is driven by, the non-oil economy is driven by the SME and the MSME segment.
Which is a significant number.
It is a significant number, and GWC is aligned with the Qatar National Vision, so it came up with a significant milestone, which is the Alucare Logistics Park, which is the 1.5 million square meter logistics park, which is developed in 3 phases. And 2022 saw the launch of the first phase, which enabled about 500 workshops and warehouses where SMEs could come and participate. And it was a happy moment that it gave an opportunity for these MSMEs to take part in a lot of activities around the FIFA. So if you look at historically, Qatar or any Middle Eastern country has been importer of goods, and then we rely on maybe the Western world or the Eastern world for the supplies. So the first time it saw that MSMEs were kind of being creative, they were kind of developing, they had an opportunity to provide support in terms of supply, and they did various activities. And we are proud that we became the enabler of creating this ecosystem.
Fabulous. Joelle, you're the regional coordinator of the ICC and Esquire Centre of Entrepreneurship. So this is something that I'm sure you're very passionate about. First of all, talk to us a little bit about what the Centre of Entrepreneurship is and how it supports MSMEs across the region. Microphone for Joelle. Test. There's always one situation with the microphone. We'll get it out of the way now, and then we won't have to worry about it for the rest of the event.
Okay. Now you can hear me.
Yes, I can.
Okay.
Thank you so much, everyone. So yes, tell us a little bit about what the Centre of Entrepreneurship is and how it supports MSMEs in the region.
Yeah, thanks, Emily. So the ICCS Core Center of Entrepreneurship is a joint initiative between the International Chamber of Commerce, which is one of the world's largest organizations whose membership includes companies, MSMEs, chambers, associations. And on the other side of the partnerships there, the UN Economic and Social Commission for Western Asia, which supports 20 Arab member states through policy, and they work directly with governments and policymakers in order to induce social development and economic growth. So these two organizations came together 3 years ago, and they started the Center of Entrepreneurship for the Arab region that is based in Beirut, but as I said, it has a regional mandate to empower future entrepreneurs. And we do so by providing capacity building programs. We focus a lot on skills development because we feel this is a need in the region. And one of our flagship programs, if I may say, is the e-commerce acceleration program, where we provide SMEs with the tools, with the skills, with the digital skills, with the resources, in order to move from offline selling into online selling. And just to build on today's conference theme, which is fostering legacy, I believe that the World Cup, one of the most enduring legacies from the World Cup last year is digitalization, and how MSMEs, they can leverage digital technologies in order to improve their operations and to enable their growth. And I also believe that last year, the World Cup has not only reinforced digitalization, but it also has extended beyond e-commerce to also include data collection and data analytics. And we've witnessed that through the access devices that were supported by QR codes, and also the B2B digital platforms that were collecting data from one order to another. So the way we look at it is that these trends are here to stay, and they will gain even more momentum with time, and MSMEs will have to learn to embrace digital technologies and to leverage data collection and data analytics to better understand their customers, to improve their experiences, and that would eventually enable them to make better sound decisions to enable their growth. I just want to end it on a note that Sayed said regarding the diversification from oil economy to knowledge economy. So today for MSMEs, actually not only MSMEs but also businesses, data is your new oil, and you have to know how to leverage this.
Data is your new oil. I noticed that Dr. Christos, you're nodding there. Talk to us a little bit about the impact. We will be looking more deeply in the second panel about the impact of digital technology on MSMEs, but there's certainly a crossover when it comes to exploring the regional growth and sustainability. So I'll just address this question to you, if I may, Christos. Just what impact has technology had in the favour of MSMEs? How has it worked and helped them to develop?
Well, I cannot agree more with you, Joel. I think two parameters in your intervention. First, people, and then data, right? Let me try to tackle your question, Emily, by focusing on the former. Well, I'm an academic. We try to develop people through education, and in more particularly, we try to develop the next generation of sport leaders that can take over and contribute to the growth here in this country and in the region. Now, growth in the digital era, as per this year's forum, right? Now, infrastructures, systems in place, all these are super, super necessary, right? But you mentioned something else. According to, by the way, UNESCO's International Center for Vocational Training and Education, Technical and Vocational Training and Education, the so-called digital literacy has 5 components. The first is information handling, from emailing to more complicated processes. then collaboration and communication, digital creation of digital content, but also safety and problem solving. Now, all these 5 components are of paramount importance if we want to talk about growth within a digital era. And where does this lead us is to paying more emphasis to the people who handling these systems. So unless we develop middle management and even below to deal with data, to deal with all these digital components that are necessary for the growth, then whatever infrastructure we have in place then might even cause a problem by often, as we say in organizational studies, by demoralizing the personnel itself because they cannot cope with these technological digital developments simply because they don't have the skill sets to deal with that. So instead of doing better through them, for them, and for the companies, for MSMEs, we cause, problems to the entire company.
So you're saying there's a delicate balance there.
Absolutely. So we need to put emphasis on the what we call managerial digital literacy. So we have to have people within our MSMEs who are literate in digital infrastructure and technology as a whole. And this is, and I know you do a lot of work, and you have done a lot of work by developing people back in Oman, and through looking at your background. So I understand that all of us in this panel, we understand how important it is to pay to put emphasis on people, and I also understand that the next panel will be discussing all these infrastructural elements about digitalization, but let's not forget that people will make the difference through those systems, and we need to pay attention to them as well.
Yeah. Engineer Salim, I noticed you were taking some notes there. You had something to add to the discussion around digitalization, and also, if you wouldn't mind, I would love to get your perspective about why Kazan being where it is, the strategy of that location and how important it is to what the organization does.
I totally agree with Dr. Chris about the digitalizations and the potential of MSMEs in this era. So for us in Oman, I talk about Oman basically, we have good examples for those SMEs who managed to reach across the region. And we have studied them, and we have evaluated them to understand what they have really done to reach that markets. For example, we have many SMEs now established in Qatar, as well as in Kingdom Saudi Arabia, in UAE, in Africa, in UK. And when we look at them, they have built their capabilities. That's one of the things they have done. They establish a quality system. They establish their digital systems. They are committed to quality, committed to delivery. So they are all common in these platforms. So that's why they have reached to outside the region, as well as once they are already established in Oman. When we come to the strategic location of Khazain, Khazain is a big city. It's 52 kilometers square.
Wow.
And it's now becoming part of Muscat, Greater Muscat. It's only 30 minutes from Muscat Airport. So it's basically, it's in Muscat. And it's the catalysts for all the expansions, urban expansions, as well commercial expansions, business expansions. The corridors of all these expansions comes to Khazain. And if you drive only 2 hours from Khazain, you reach 80% of Oman population. And it's surrounded with all the population in a very dense.
So within the two-hour radius, you'll have 80%.
You reach, yes. Also connected with very strong logistic infrastructure in terms of seaports, airport, also the highways all the way 3 hours or less than 3 hours to UAE border.
You would not have that in Australia, where I'm from. You'd still be in the same state.
And also to Saudi Arabia, now the border is opened. So it's only 3.5 hours to the border of Saudi Arabia. So different market has been opened to the SMEs and also to the investors that's already now in Khazain.
It's fabulous. Sayeda, you wanted to make a comment?
I cannot agree more with Dr. Christos as how innovation in digital era is changing the way we are doing business. So that's in our tagline, delivering logistics innovation, right? And if you look at FIFA, it would not have been possible without the measures that we took. And we had a central command center which kind of managed the entire length and breadth of the operations, be it the central distribution center or the transport management systems or the warehouse management systems or the master delivery scheduling system, which kind of was a complete coordinated effort which made it happen. You know, we could analyze what are the timings and how much time it would take from the point of origin till it is delivered to the venue, with overcoming the traffic situation, overcoming the security protocols. Without technology, this would just not have been possible. So.
We have so many questions that are coming in from our guests, and I also have so many. So I'll just try and address one perhaps to you, Joel. Can you compare Qatar and its GCC neighbours, and what do you think investors are saying are the competitive advantages of doing business, say, in Qatar versus other parts of the region, or if that's applicable to you?
Oh, sure. Again, I'd like to take it from the theme of this conference, which is fostering legacy and what happened last year. So I think what Qatar has been doing for the last decade or so is providing tools and building an infrastructure where that can pave the way for further technological advancements. So just to make this clear for everyone, when we talk about technology and when we talk about innovation, I want you to visualize a spectrum, and I want you to think about digital as the beginning of this spectrum. And when we talk about digital, we're talking about technologies or we're talking about new services and new products and new processes that improve experience, that make things easier, simpler, smarter, more convenient, and more accessible. So examples, e-commerce, smartphone apps, digital social media platforms, services enabled by software, so on and so forth. And if we look at the end of the spectrum, we look at deep technologies. And these are the technologies that require a lot of research and innovation, and they require a lot of investments so that you make sure that they commercialize and they scale.
Could you give an example of a deep technology?
Absolutely. The examples of deep tech technologies are the technologies that are solving real-world problems.
Okay.
And these are the ones that are addressing education, healthcare, climate, energy, transportation and logistics, financial inclusion. I know we have a fintech on the second panel. So just to go back to the question, I think for the last decade or so, Qatar has been providing the tools and the infrastructure that paves the way for those further technological advancements, where we can make our economies more thriving and more prosperous. So there's an abundance of opportunities for our MSMEs, and all they have to do is just leverage this infrastructure and the tools that are present in order to solve these problems.
I want to take a different direction now for the conversation. I want to talk about sustainability, which I think is something that's really important, very much front and center, whether it comes to MSMEs, whether it comes to media. It's very much a headline topic at the moment. So, Dr. Christos, if I may, how are MSMEs utilizing sustainability or using secular economies to their advantage going forward? Is that something that is front of mind for MSMEs?
Well, first of all, sustainability is a very broad
yes,
term,
that's a
right?
very good
so
point.
we can talk about sustainability from different angles. In my view, what is important to know, talking about sustainability, talking about growth, and then becoming sustainable through this growth, is what Joel mentioned before about data analytics, data management, and helping our companies, MSMEs for that matter, to understand our clientele better, to feel their experiences, and then design, I don't know, better strategies or pricing better the products and services that are on offer through those MSMEs. And so data collection and understanding of what customers want and how processes can be improved is of paramount importance. And I'm sure that since during the World Cup and since this huge event ended, the likes of GWC and other influential companies have collected data, and they are working on looking at this data, and they're trying to make sense of this data. So this is a good thing to have in place, and trying to see through this data how we can do things better. But interestingly, in my view, is that we need to also to ask ourselves, what is in our data, what is the answer that we seek and we cannot see in our data? What are the questions that we should have asked ourselves, right, in order to improve several things? And we never ask those questions. And the good news is that we have, as I mentioned before, a host of events that coming up, and so we can ask these questions during those events, before those events, and after these events, and utilize this data even better, and we support our growth and sustainability for that matter.
Yeah, there was a panelist that was going to join the second panel. His name is Mike from SAP. Unfortunately, he couldn't be here today, but one of the things that I found particularly interesting about what he said in terms of technology and sustainability was that, for example, their shipments that they're using now to ship goods through different oceans and to different areas was that they use the technology to create the fastest route.
Absolutely.
To therefore not have such an impact on the environment. And I guess, Engineer Salim, I wondered whether or not when you were establishing the economic city, if a sustainability was front in mind and how you're using that to work with MSMEs.
Right, exactly as you said. From the beginning, sustainability was one of the criteria in designing any economic city or in any city. So when we designed Khazain, there is different components of sustainability, in fact. One of the things is the ecosystem that we have created in Khazain, which is it's part of the sustainability. For example, we have to design a labor village in each cluster. So first of all the investors, they don't have to transport their laborers from their factories or warehouses to outside the city or outside even the cluster. So what we designed a labor village inside each cluster where the labor can walk maximum 8 minutes to the factory. Yes, so that reduce the the carbon footprint, reduce also the cost and the time of
Increase
traveling,
their daily steps.
increase their daily steps, increase the performance. So that's one of the sustainability initiatives. It has been created and also designed. We designed also a dry board inside the city where
A what?
a dry board.
Oh, okay.
And now becoming its international dry board. The investors in Khazain, they can import or export from any part of the world. It comes directly to their door.
Fabulous.
So that's also part of this ecosystem that we have created. Plus also we managed to bring also the food city, the pharmaceutical city. So it's now shaping and it's working. In terms of sustainability, we do have a clusters for sustainability inside Khazain, and it's really a unique cluster where we have SMEs, and all this cluster is being developed by SMEs. One of the SMEs called Waqut. They collect all the used cooked oil from the country, over the country, from the restaurants, from the hotels, from anywhere, from the houses. So they bring it to Khazain.
The
and
food?
The oil, used cooked oil.
Oh, okay, yes,
okay?
yes.
And they produce a biodiesel out of it.
Wow.
And now this company is exporting this biodiesel to Spain because the standard that they have maintained is very high standard. So we have really solved an environmental issue. We used the old used cooked oil. It used to be thrown. Now it's coming to, it's been now recycled, and we are producing oil.
Wonderful.
Yes, biofuel oil. Also, we have a company called 44.01. They are also doing the decarbonizations. They're collecting the carbon and they inject it on the ground so they get credits, all this, the companies. We have also recycling papers.
Great.
One of the factory that came to Khazain from USA, from Saudi Arabia, is they producing the paper eggs tray. So they're using now the recycled paper, and they're producing paper eggs tray, and they're marketing it inside Oman and outside Oman.
And the ideas really are limitless. I think
Exactly.
the ideas that
and
MSMEs come up with
Exactly.
are limitless. I'm very conscious of the time. We only have a few more minutes left. But Joelle, I'll let you respond. And then Syed, I have a question from the audience that I'd like to ask you.
Yeah, actually, I just wanted to, it's a comment. What I want to say is that what Salim just described in this intervention and the previous one, in the language of business support organizations like the Center of Entrepreneurship, we call it MSME clustering, in a sense that you bring the interconnected businesses and the different actors and stakeholders in one geographical area. And that proximity allows for further networking and learning and knowledge sharing and building on an existing infrastructure, you know, and the supply chain, and also get to a point where you achieve economies of scale. The beauty about this is that it could be applied across multiple industries. What we're seeing here is the logistics and the warehousing, but also we could see it in manufacturing, in agriculture, in creative industries. So there's a lot of opportunities around MSME clustering.
So essentially, you hope that you've got really good neighbours.
Absolutely.
Syed, there's a question from the audience that I wanted to ask you, and it's slightly off this topic. So, post-World Cup, how has GWC geared up to support MSMEs when everyone wants to improve their bottom line?
Sure. So if you look at the Allocair Logistics Park that I mentioned earlier, 2022 saw the first phase of the logistics park, which was overly successful. You know, we were overbooked by the time we launched, and it became home to about 500 companies to start with. So this was about 500 units of warehousing and light industrial workshops where people could come, set up, and it became a complete ecosystem because they were sharing space with partner industries where they could kind of source within the complex. So it became an ecosystem. With the success of this, we launched the second phase, which was recently done, and we see a huge success on that as well. With the success of phase 1 and 2, we are already geared up to launch the third phase. So once all the 3 phases are completed, this will be home to about 1,300 units of warehousing and light industrial workshops and retail stores. So it has created a complete ecosystem. So how it supports the MSMEs, like if they go on to build their own, there is no capital expenditure that is required when they come to us, which is a huge cost. These could be small entrepreneurs, it could be small startups, which don't necessarily have the capital and would depend on, let's say, loans and banks, which can be avoided. So it comes at a very economical cost. That's the first point. And then they get access to a complete ecosystem. They get access to the complete portfolio of logistics solutions which GWC offers. So be it freight forwarding, be it transportation, and they kind of use our digital technology as well wherever required. It becomes easier for them because we are an enabler. It's a one-stop shop solution where they don't have to run around for any approvals. So we've made it very simple. It's a one-page contract, which is flexible in terms of the term and period. They don't have to go for any regulatory approvals, civil defense, municipality. So this is a secure, compounded, integrated logistics park where it's a plug and play. They just sign the contract. Next day they come in and they can start operations. And we can also enable registration for them in terms of obtaining a CR, so this has been a huge success, and this has attracted more and more MSMEs. And I'm proud to say it's not only from Qatar. We see a lot of companies from our neighboring countries, which is Oman, Saudi Arabia, UAE, also signing up and having a base here. And just to add an extension to Dr. Christos's first answer, it might not necessarily take away our talent, because these people have a legacy of doing the FIFA World Cup, which means wherever, and Qatar is going to host a lot of events. Right now we have the Expo, where these MSMEs are a part of it. We have the AFC, then we have the FINA, followed by FIBA in 27 and 2030, the Asian Games. So there's a lot of activity within the country. And if you look at regionally as well, there is so much that's happening, which can be a big benefiting factor for these MSMEs who already have the experience and legacy of contributing towards FIFA and these events.
Well, we have to leave it there. I told you it would go very quickly in the blink of an eye, otherwise we could be here all day, but we are going to have a coffee break now, so we can continue those conversations off the stage. But please, everyone, join with me in thanking our very talented panellists. We have Engineer Salim, we have Dr. Christos, Syed and Joelle. Thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate it. So as I mentioned, it's time for a short break, and then we'll come back with our second panel very shortly. So do stay with us. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, if you'd like to please take your seats, we're about to start our second panel. I hope you enjoyed your coffee break. I'll just wait for a few extra people to make their way inside and then we'll begin. So I'd like to introduce our second panel, which is titled Digital MSMEs. Please welcome to the stage Mohammed Al-Delaimi, the founder and managing director of SkipCash, Aisha Al-Ramahi, the manager of special programs at Qatar Development Bank, and the chief marketing officer at GWC, Jawahar Al-Huzai. As they're making their way to the stage, please. Thank you. As our panel gets settled in, we will explore how tech and innovation can boost MSMEs in the digital era, including customer experiences, increased sales, and operational efficiency. We'll also discuss how AI, artificial intelligence, might change the digital landscape and talk about the benefits of e-procurement. And just a reminder, we have the QR code that you can scan throughout the discussion and add in your questions as they arise. All right, thank you so much everyone for taking their seats. Let's begin. Mohammed, I'd love to start with you. It's so fabulous to have you here on the panel as the founder and managing director of SkipCash. First of all, I'd just love for you to explain a little bit about how SkipCash came about, how it was developed, how you came up with the idea. Talk us through it.
Well, hello everyone, Assalamu alaikum. My name is Mohammed Al-Delaimi. Actually, the idea of SkipCash came from curiosity. So I was heavy shopper in Amazon and eBay, and whenever I do a transaction, usually with credit or debit cards, sometimes it goes through, sometimes it's been failed, and this curiosity is building up by the time to see what's the payments let's say, infrastructure that we do have in Qatar, why it's so different from other regions, and this build-up continued to grow until one time I said, why not starting something similar here in Qatar that facilitate good online payments for the economy and industry, and especially for the SMEs. And so SkipCash is a fintech company. We provide payment solutions. And this is enabled for SMEs to simplify their operation. So the last thing that they want to worry about is how to handle customer payments. So we want to simplify this experience and journey for them and help them to operate efficiently, especially in the digital era.
I want to get to the ladies in just a moment, but if I may, Mohammed, could you talk us through some of the clients that you have? Is there a particular type of company or enterprise that uses SkipCash, or is it more of a broad spectrum?
We started focusing on SMEs. Because they are underserved from the banks. Those SMEs, if they want to get a simple solution like a payment gateway or payment links, usually takes them between 1 to 2 months. With us, it's in the same day we activate those solutions.
Wow, so from 1 to 2 months to 1 day.
Yes, and because SMEs are so active, we get a lot of feedback from them. That's helped us improve and continue to develop our platform. So after almost 2 years, we got almost 1,000 SMEs in our business, helping them to grow and do the transaction. Right now we are starting seeing enterprise conglomerate businesses coming to us asking for the same service that those small SMEs are getting. Our solution is so flexible, and this is even this year, hopefully we're going to, let's say, discussing with 2 government entities who are also interested in those solutions. So this is, let's say, a very good journey for us. So starting from SMEs to enterprise to government.
Congratulations, that's fabulous. Aisha, how does QDB support entrepreneurs and startups across different industries?
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you for having me. QDB plays a key role in Qatar economy diversification since inception by offering holistic offerings to the entrepreneurs and business owners in Qatar throughout many products and services and platforms that we we built to support such a vision, and Qatar Business Incubation Center is one of these key platforms. As everyone knows, Qatar Business Incubation Center is one of the largest mixed business incubators in the MENA region, and we are offering a lot of programs that could support building capabilities of these entrepreneurs to help them pursue their dreams and set up their startups and businesses, starting of the Lean Startup Program, the Lean Acceleration Program.
So what are those programs, if we can break it down a little bit? So what are those programs that help?
So these are our flagship programs. So the Lean Startup Program is our flagship program. It's a very intensive 10 weeks program that supports the entrepreneurs from MVP holders that could transform their minimum viable product into an actual product that could be viable in the market throughout a validation process, building their capabilities, tweaking their business model, and of course we help them throughout interacting and communicating with other entrepreneurs to have an actual presence in the market throughout investment products from QDB, started from the pre-seed to the seed to the further investment in QDB, and many events that we are participating in, matchmaking, just to make sure that they are on the right track to accelerate their businesses and set it up in Doha. And then if they are up and running in Qatar, we also give them an opportunity to expand their activities outside Qatar throughout other programs with the promotion agency which is Tasdir. It helps the startups to expand their
to grow.
And expand their activities outside Qatar throughout their acceleration programs, mix and match or matchmaking opportunities and investment.
There are so many elements to this discussion, particularly
and I mean, like, it's not only the efforts does not stop only on
Yes.
in the programs. I mean, we have a huge facility located in the industrial area, which is Jahez project. It's a small scale manufacturers where the manufacturers can set up their businesses very quickly, and we help them, throughout setting up their businesses and through financing them and so on. Besides that, we have these specialized incubation programs throughout our partnership program with Uridu Qatar, which is the Digital and Beyond Incubator, and then we expanded into special verticals or specialized verticals in sports tech, fashion tech. On the other hand, we have our fintech program, which put Qatar on international map of the fintech industry.
And I want to get to those specifics. I think they're really interesting, how the different industries use digital technologies. But if I may, Jawahar, one element that I find really fascinating is artificial intelligence. And I've also got a bunch of questions here that I want to ask as well. So the artificial intelligence, how are companies leveraging that sort of technology in its digital or in their digital marketing?
Actually, artificial intelligence, AI, is not a new thing. It was coined in 1957, and it kept developing, and there was a lot of research about it. Nowadays, it's affecting every industry. One of the industries is what we are actually gathering today. It's marketing. want to talk from that perspective because now everything is in the social media, in the digital media, and this is where in our industry we utilize AI, whether it's who doesn't use ChatGPT to enhance the content. Also
So explain that to us. So how would you use give us an example of what you would do during the day where you would use ChatGPT in your marketing, for example?
So it reduces time. So it takes you to research about a topic that might take you, I don't know, a couple of hours. ChatGPT gives it to you in a matter of seconds. And it helps as well to customize the content. So AI is helping in the social marketing also in terms of targeting the right target audience. So for example, today for this forum, if we want to target who we want to view on YouTube, for example, you can really go down the list to target MSMEs, specific nationalities, even geography. Even I want to have floor this in this building.
Wow.
It became to that level.
Mohammed, did you want to add on that? How is your business utilizing artificial intelligence?
So Skipcash's technology is based on Azure Cloud. So and most recently, I guess, in the past 3 months, Microsoft Azure in Qatar, they integrated their AI model into the Microsoft cluster in Doha. And this is give us the capability to showcase the database that we do have when it comes to transaction habits, consumer habits of doing payments. And this we leverage it to the businesses that signed up with Skipcash to help them forecast the 3 or to 6 month sales expectation of revenue.
So all of this data is input into a system, and then essentially the AI will say this is where you'll be, or this is where you'll go.
How much you expect to do sales, how much, let's say, seasonal trends is going to impact your sales or operation. And this is, let's say, very useful for business owners, especially for SMEs, and this is help them to allocate resources, plan marketing activities, and this, let's say, put them in a good position to strategize their business forward. So AI is very useful when it comes to financial activities, and this is one part of it, which is payments. But of course, for wealth investment, insurance technology, AI play a role to, let's say, give recommendation, advice, and later on it help them, it help decision maker to facilitate a good informative decision.
Because one thing that I find interesting is that when the internet was first coming about, people said it's going to take jobs, it's going to take people's jobs. And what we've seen is that it's actually become a job creator. And I guess I wonder, Aisha, if you would agree that perhaps artificial intelligence will be the same, that it actually is creating jobs, not stealing jobs.
I mean, it's definitely kept creating jobs, because at the end of the day, I don't think so. I mean, technology will take over human being in any certain, job to do. Yeah.
What?
It is something that we still investigate.
Yes.
I guess the past week we saw Elon Musk released their AI agent. And I guess this is something that we continue to observe. Some of the roles like accounting, legal advice, some of the repetitive role that AI could take place, I guess this is what we were going to observe in the coming 3 to 5 years. But this is, I don't say it right now confidently, that's not going to replace, but we need to observe and see how it's need to be adding value to our, let's say, common let's say, roles of
Well, I'm just reading a question here from Malik, which he's highlighting what Dr. Christos said in the last panel, which is talking about the concept of digital literacy, that you need to be able to know how to use these tools with dealing with the workforce to essentially adopt the demands of digital technology. So you need to be able to be literate with these tools in order to use them appropriately. Jawahar, if I may, how can MSMEs reach customers directly and specifically through AI? You mentioned a few before, but perhaps you could expand, so you've got the likes of social media and things like that.
Customers nowadays, they want everything right now. They want it quickly, and they don't want to pay more, and they want it cheaply. AI can help in tracking their shipments, speeding up the process, defining when they're gonna collect it. And also in terms of tools that MSMEs can use, we can see chatbots right now implemented. So that's a very helpful tool to reach the customers, get answers very quickly. And in terms of social media, you can, as Mohammed said, you can predict what your customer wants, the time that they want to purchase a certain product. Also can help in the search engine optimizations, SEO, when the customers are searching for you. So I would say AI not by itself, AI combined by data analytics. If you put both together, this is the future.
Jason's asked a question here, and I'll direct that to you, Mohammed, if I may. How can we utilize virtual offices instead of physical ones in the digital age? Have you encountered that with your company?
At the beginning, yes, and this could be useful for let's say young age startups and also home business offices, where this virtual office is just related to meeting the compliance and regulation of the Ministry of Commerce. So usually home business offices use the virtual office just to get their company registration and help them at least operate selling online, selling through social media. Let's say with those kind of tools, it help minimize the cost on those small businesses and maintain a good, let's say, compliance requirements from the government.
Aisha, you were mentioning before some of the industries that have particularly benefited from technology. Perhaps you could expand on them. You're talking about obviously fintech, but then you mentioned fashion as well. Talk us through some of those success stories.
So we at QTB, throughout our partnerships, we kept encouraging our entrepreneurs to adapt technology and digitize their business model as much as possible. I mean, one of our recent partnerships is with Microsoft, which is a great enabler for all of the SMEs throughout their Founder Hub solution that could support all of the entrepreneurs to set up their businesses digitally and benefit from all of the services from cloud services and interact with a similar community throughout the web, and of course adapt IoT or like think of it as a solution in their businesses. So we keep encouraging them to consider it as an expansion of their businesses, but at the same time we keep encouraging digital startups throughout our digital incubator with and digital and beyond. And this is applied to everyone, starting from the sports tech and fintech and of course fashion and fashion tech. One of our success stories is Sponix, which is an award-winning startups who graduated from the sports accelerator program. And they actually was part of 2022, the World Cup, by selling their solutions to international broadcast channels that could that they hired them to offer them the services. So I
Of
mean,
sports broadcasting, they offered the services?
yes, yes.
Okay.
So I mean, I can see, I mean, their impact on the ecosystem was great, and we are really keen to support developing similar startups in the future.
Fabulous. Jawahar, just returning to the AI, because I find that particularly interesting, how might AI be utilised to boost sustainability commitments? We sort of discussed this briefly with our previous panel, and I think it's something that you've also mentioned just briefly, Mohammed, about the idea that technology can actually be beneficial from a sustainability perspective, particularly environmentally.
Yeah, so in the logistics industry, for example, and I think my colleague Moaz mentioned it around the FIFA where we had a master delivery system. So AI-driven routes optimization can help in reduce the carbon footprint. So, you know, you're hitting two birds with one stone. You're protecting the environment and you're getting your shipment quickly. Also, in the whole supply chain process, there is a lot of tools and there is a lot of opportunities to reduce the energy that's being used through the whole supply chain. So it helps in protecting the environment.
The other thing, this is a question without notice, Mohammed, but one thing that I found also quite interesting, the idea of technology and then getting women more into whether it's fintech or whether it's logistics or banking, because it allows you to perhaps, if you're at home and you've got children, you can work from home. Is that something that you, or even we saw during COVID, the same situation where people were able to engage with the workplace without having to be physically there?
Skip Cash right now 17 team members, and I guess 50% of them are females. So
wow.
And yes, this is based, depends on the nature of the business. So Skip Cash is, we have two parts of it. So majority of our activities actually happening virtually. So all our solution can be managed and operated maybe from home. But since let's say the other 50% of our business is actually meeting customer and clients, so we need to be physically there.
Yes.
But yes, during COVID, I guess 6 to 8 months we've been operating.
I don't want to mention COVID too much. We're all too traumatized. I think we'll just.
But yes, we had to innovate on how to. Of course, we are running our operation normally, but we need to innovate how to meet our clients and try to do the sales cycles efficiently and at least convince them, because convincing them behind the screens is not similarly to,
yes,
let's say, as a face-to-face meeting. But yes, and actually this is, right now it's been used as an ecosystem improvement to the let's say environment of the company as a startup. So once in a while we give our team to work from home just to give them a good relaxed engagement with the company, and this will help them, let's say, with their loyalty and their commitment towards their company.
Jawahar, do you think that's helped get women into logistics, the digital era?
So logistics is somehow perceived that it's a masculine business and industry. But I have to say that there is a lot of opportunities. It's not only, working into delivering or working in the warehouse. There is a lot of opportunities, in customer service and in marketing. In fact, the first event we had was virtual, GWC Forum in 2021. It was around COVID. Enough trauma.
Yes.
One of my colleagues here, she's from legal also, so there is a lot of admin roles.
Yes.
In the logistics sector, in the financial, it's like any field. So I take this opportunity to encourage women to join this sector and to contribute to it.
Fabulous. I have, Aisha, I have a question for you specifically. which specific non-oil industries are loaning more from banks, and where positive growth is being seen post-World Cup?
Actually, again, I didn't get the question.
So I guess that there are, you were mentioning some of them before, right? You had that particular startup that was a sports tech.
Yeah, yeah.
And then you were saying that there was some fashion tech as well. Are those the kinds of industries that you're seeing more? Is there a trend as to which industries are reaching out to you from an MSME?
I would say manufacturing, because
manufacturing.
I mean,
okay.
yes, because this is the main stream of our lending and finance. I mean, approach to support the industrial sector of Qatar. I mean, a lot of efforts been put together to support such industry throughout Jaha's factories and the small-scale factories in Quebec. So it's no longer financing them, because we are supporting them even like from building their capabilities throughout the lean manufacturing program. We have on the other side Factory One, which is the model factory, a very unique facility that give the manufacturer a whole simulation journey and what does it take to produce in a lean way. And this is definitely an eye-opening experience towards Industry 4, and I mean, like give them like a new perspectives on manufacturing that could reduce their cost and of course time and that takes to produce a single item.
Yes.
Yeah.
We only have 5 more minutes left, so I'll just ask you each one more question, if I may, and then we'll break for lunch. Mohammed, what is the trajectory of MSMEs and their adaptation of technology in Qatar and the region?
SMEs or MSMEs.
I guess there are 2 parts to that question.
Yes.
Yeah.
There is a pattern where this segment is contributing in a positive way for each economy, and the reason why is that they usually provide solution or services or even retail or which is let's say preferred by big enterprises. So they contribute in a let's say in a positive way. And I believe because of those new digital tools right now is being available, it's very simple to operate and launch the business, especially for SMEs. Referring to your question related to what are the new segments that right now are pattern that's coming up, I see MSMEs are right now targeting to offer services, so offering rather than focusing on retail or focusing on products and conventional sales to the market. So I see this is right now improving, and their adoption for online payments or digital solution right now becoming a preference and let's say necessity rather than luxury to use those kind of solutions. So the growth actually... Necessity
to luxury, I like that. I like that it's no longer just the luxury of doing it. Everyone wants to be able to do it.
Yeah, because we see the consumers right now are demanding those kind of solutions. They want frictionless, good experience, convenience. And this is actually pushing those resellers and companies to adopt those solutions. So here in Qatar, we saw of course, COVID and the World Cup, and actually since 2010, once we had the winning the World Cup, Qatar is from that day, from 2010, started to advance and develop the rules and regulation of starting of any business, and this is actually happening. For the sake of improving the infrastructure, improving the ecosystem, and this actually help to promote starting the business in Qatar.
And none of us are moving, which is what's so interesting. We're all deadly still, and it's still happening. Okay. Well, thank you very much for your answer, Mohammed. Aisha, just lastly, my question for you is, there's the upcoming GCC. Thank you. I said we'd have the technical difficulties in the last panel, but no, we need one for each. Aisha, just lastly with you, I wanted to ask you about the GCC Hackathon. What is it and how will that support startups? We'll have to share.
So basically, the hackathon is one of our programs in Business Incubator and Accelerator departments in QDB, where we open the call for innovators from different sectors to apply for the themes that we are calling for application. So at this time, and unlike the previous editions of the hackathon, we opened the application for 6 countries from the GCC to apply, for their entrepreneurs, of course, to apply with their ideas within certain themes, including digital and AI. It's a very unique, I would say, hackathon that's gonna be run throughout the Rawat Qatar, which is our entrepreneurship forum that's happening on the side of Global Entrepreneurship Week. And the team have already started shortlisting the applicants and the applications, and all of the selected one or the shortlisted one will be fly into Qatar before the conference, just for a very intensive 2 days boot camp. Where they gonna be, we're gonna put them in a very intensive mentorship and coaching sessions, so just to get the best out of them. And then at the end, they're gonna be called to present their idea during Rawat Qatar conference in front of a group of jury to judge their ideas and see which one is more feasible or scalable, and go through, put them in our incubation program and offer them the rest of the services from QDB.
How fabulous. And where did you say that event was?
Again?
When is the event, the hackathon?
It's gonna be during Global Entrepreneurship Week on the next week, the 2nd week of November.
This month, wow, yeah. Okay, yeah. Looking forward to hearing how that goes. Thank you, Aisha. And Jawaha, I'll leave you with the last question, and it's actually from one of our guests here. And you mentioned it briefly before about how is digital wiping out the need for physical warehouses. What has been the impact of increased digital use on GWC's need for warehouses?
Sorry, can you repeat?
So how has AI and technology impacted the warehouse capabilities of GWC?
Well, AI helps to work faster, work smarter, and to reduce time. So in our warehouses, I'll talk about the warehouses, and I'll talk about again the master delivery, because transporting is very essential. And in the warehousing, we have a warehousing management system that can help you to track. So AI is used to help in tracking your shipment. Optimizing the routes, so it gets to you faster. And I believe in the future, it's going to help the industry more and more in reducing time and reducing cost.
Well, thank you so much, and a big thank you to our panelists. If everyone could please give a round of applause to Aisha, Mohammed and Jawaha. I don't think I have enough microphones. I'm going to take 2 more over here. As our guests, thank you so much. As our guests make their way down to the table, I would just like to thank everyone who's contributed to today's event, including all our esteemed panellists and our keynote speaker. Thank you to our strategic partners, the Ministry of Commerce and Industry and QNB, our research partner, Hamad bin Khalifa University, our intelligence partner, Oxford Business Group, and QLive, our gift partner. Thank you also to Qatar Sustainability Week for including this event in its schedule. GWC is proud to be a strategic partner of this initiative. Today's event will be available to watch on YouTube. Please share the links across social media as we grow this event and continue to support MSMEs in Qatar and across the region. And don't forget, the forum continues tomorrow with workshops at the Al Wukair Logistics Park. The Future Ready MSME workshop will present a strategic approach for businesses preparing to navigate challenges effectively. And after that, HBKU will deliver an interactive workshop focused on the opportunities and challenges facing MSMEs. For more information about GWC, its logistics hub, and the company's commitment to supporting MSMEs, head to gwclogistics.com. I'm Emily Angwin. Thank you so much for your attendance today, and please enjoy your lunch. Thank you.